Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to another episode of Roses, Rings, and Roasts. I'm your host, Morgan, as always. So this week, I don't even know. Is it week 7? It's hometown week, okay? The first hometown that we are gonna get is Hannah Ann's hometown. We are in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Hannah Ann decides she wants to show Peter, and she wants like a manly man, I guess. And so they go axe throwing. And they are terrible at throwing axes. Everyone's standing around watching them, and they are just butchering this whole thing. Peter does finally make a bullseye. Hannah Ann doesn't really come close, but overall it was an okay day. And then they go to have the dinner portion, and the thing that really sticks out about the dinner portion when he's meeting her family is that Hannah Ann's dad is he just doesn't seem like he cares at all what's going on. I don't know if it's just because he's worried about like his daughter getting heartbroken, but he just does not care for Peter being there, shows like little to no excitement. Peter ends up talking to her dad at one point, and he's like, I really am like falling in love with your daughter, and I want to tell her that like tonight. And her dad was like, please don't say that unless you actually 100% mean it. So after they all have that family time, Peter sits with Hannah Ann outside, and he talks to her and tells her that he is falling in love with her. Overall, it was pretty okay. Then we go to Kelsey's hometown. Kelsey's hometown is in Des Moines, Iowa, and they actually do like kind of like a fun little date. I mean, it seemed a little weird for like Iowa, I guess. I wouldn't really expect them to do this, but so they went to a winery, and they actually like stomped on some grapes to like make wine. It was very gross, and I was super uncomfortable. So were my roommates. And then they go and they like make their own mix of wine, and they like bottle it up, and they call it like Peter and Kelsey or whatever, which I was kind of a little disappointed. I was like, really, you can't come up with like a more creative like name for your wine? Like, come on. Kelsey actually confessed that she was in love with Peter, and then Peter was just kind of like, I'm so glad that like you feel that about me. And Peter didn't say it back, so we're kind of like, oh, that's a yikes. But then they go to meet her family. First of all, Kelsey, like her mom and her sisters, they all look the same. Like literally all blonde, have the same like kind of bad nose job. And so they talk, and then Kelsey's mom is just like worried about her because she doesn't want to see Kelsey heartbroken, and tells Peter that, and it's pretty normal. So then we go to Madison's hometown, and Madison is in Auburn, Alabama. And so for their date, she's like, I'm gonna take you somewhere that's like really special to me. So they go to a gym, which but I mean, it makes sense because like she's a huge Auburn fan. Her dad's like an assistant coach for the Auburn basketball team, so like obviously it adds up. And they play a little basketball. Madison clearly shows him up and is like, my skills are way better than yours. So they go there and they have a good time, and then they go to the dinner portion where he's meeting her family, and you can tell that her family really is like faith driven, and they do this thing where they go around the table and say something that they like appreciate about Madison. And that the big thing here was that Madison, when she was talking to her mom was like, have you told him about like the choices you've made for yourself, which she's referring to the fact that Madison is saving herself for marriage, which she has not told Peter yet. She hasn't even told Peter that she's falling in love with him yet. In the last episode, she said she was waiting because she wanted him to meet her family and to have that realization that like, yes, she is falling in love with him. And she talked to her dad and was like, I do want your guys' approval. And her dad's like, well, I can't really like give that to you just because there are other women still involved. He was like, but I'm not saying that I won't give him my approval like eventually. So Madison still doesn't say that she's falling in love with Peter yet. He said it though. This is the second time he said it to her. So that's kind of a big deal that he's saying it, but she hasn't said it yet, but he still feels really strongly about where they're at. And then so next, first of all, we're all sitting around like watching The Bachelor, and we realize there is still an hour left, and all that's left is Victoria F's hometown. So you know there's about to be some major drama spilled. So they go to Victoria F's hometown in Virginia Beach. And they go to this like old-timey like photos thing, kind of cringy. But then she's like, I have one last surprise for you. And it's like, of course, a country singer, but it was Hunter Hayes. Like, even I know, a non-country fan knows who Hunter Hayes is. And I was like, are you kidding? The ironic thing I find about this was that he sang his song Crazy, and there's a line in his song where it's like, I don't want easy, I want crazy. And that to me really just embodies who Victoria F is. When they're going to leave the Day after the concert, like there were a whole bunch of other people at this concert as well. And so when they were going to leave, Peter actually runs into one of his exes, and she's like, listen, I went to high school with her, like I know her and I know you, because first of all, she dated Peter at some point. They blur out her face, so we don't really know who it is. Her name is Marissa. And so Marissa tells him like, I know you and I know her, and I just know you deserve so much more, and like she isn't a good person, and she's broken up a lot of relationships in the past, kind of giving off that vibe that she's like a homewrecker essentially, and has like, she literally said she caused other relationships to break up in the past, which is kind of not what you want to hear about someone who you're thinking about potentially getting engaged to. So obviously Peter's concerned and he's thrown off. So then when they go to have dinner with her family, before they go into the house, Peter's like, we need to talk.
Today I had an ex there too. And then she just brought some stuff up to my attention that she thought that I should know.
About what?
She told me that you've caused a lot of other relationships to end.
And so Victoria F kind of just attacks Peter in a way.
Then I don't want to do this.
But can we just talk? And
what are we going to say? There's nothing.
I'm trying to out. I'm not
okay,
trying
let's
to have
talk
you...
it out. What are we going to say?
I'm just asking for the truth.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore, Peter, because...
So you just have given up on this?
You literally just came in here to act like that? Are you kidding me?
But one of my favorite lines that Peter said was to Victoria F, because she was saying how she wants to get up, she wants to walk away, she wants to leave, and Peter just goes,
do you ever fight for anything that you really want?
Which was the biggest bombshell to me. I was like, you know what, Peter, maybe you're not so stupid. And she ends up getting up and walking away. And then she comes back and is talking to Peter. He's like, I feel like I'm putting so much into this, and like, you just keep walking off and you're not putting yourself into our relationship. And she was like, well, then why do you stay? Just being super annoying and childish about the whole thing. They just kind of like don't resolve any of their issues, and they end up hugging and he leaves. So he never actually meets her family. After that, we go to the next day and Peter's in his hotel room in Virginia Beach, and Victoria comes to talk to him. And Victoria was like, well, I had like wanted to tell you that I was like falling in love with you last night. All this drama, just, it always gets in the way of us. And he does mention, he's like, we don't have any communication skills. It's like, you just get up and walk off. I'm over it. He ends up deciding that he doesn't want to make up his mind right then and there if he wants to send Victoria home or not. She ends up leaving the hotel, and then they fly out to LA, everyone does, for the rose ceremony. They all show up and they're standing there, and Peter goes to make his decisions. And so Peter gives the first rose out to Hannah Ann, and then he gives the second one to Madison, which totally saw that coming. Like, those are two people he has said he's falling in love with, but he hasn't said it to these two. Who do you think stays? Victoria F, of course. So sorry, Kelsey, but you gotta go. Oh man. So Kelsey is out of here, and Peter starts to head out after saying his goodbye to Kelsey, and then we get one of Madison's clips from her talking to like the producers, and she's saying like how like next week's fantasy suite, and like she's saving herself for marriage and she really just needs to like say something. And so right at the end of the episode, before we get the previews, she goes, wait, Peter, can I talk to you for a second? And so obviously she's getting ready to go talk to him about that. But we don't know what the conversation is yet. We're gonna have to wait till next weekend to know what that is. We cut to the previews, which cause a huge problem because first of all the girls are together in a hotel room, which is never happens for Fantasy Suite. When they get down to the final four and they go to hometowns, Usually that's the last time the girls all stay together. Past that, they're all in separate hotel rooms. Like, no one's talking to each other about how their relationship is. But they're all in the same hotel room, and we hear different clip bites from people talking, and like Victoria F's talking about how Madison apparently gave Peter this ultimatum, which I'm sure has to do with being intimate with other girls, and she's calling Madison disgusting for doing that, which, first of all, Victoria has no room to talk, considering someone came up and said she has broken up relationships in the past. But we see a clip where she has like the exact same conversation that Luke P and Hannah B had.
If you told me you're having sex or you had sex with one or multiple of these guys, I'd be wanting to go home.
I wouldn't be able to move forward if you have slept with the other women.
Which, like, I mean, yeah, sure, it sucks to hear that the guy you're dating is intimate with other people. Like, in a normal relationship, that would definitely not be okay. So I get where Madison's coming from, but this isn't normal. This is The Bachelor, and he's dated 30 women at once. So the fact that she's saying, like, now you can't be intimate with anyone else, kind of ridiculous. You can't pull that on The Bachelor. Is Madison gonna walk away next episode? We'll have to wait to find out. Yeah. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, click the little bell icon if you want to get notifications every time I upload a video. Be sure to check out my last video. It was actually a little something different. We went to Dunkin', tried this new latte they have. It was actually really good, but you should go check it out anyway. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.